there, YouTubers. I'm at Heritage Hill today for the celebration of the Christmas Past event at the Hill. So there's dancers in here in the town hall. There's nobody in the Baird Law Office. It's gated today. But I believe we've got a blacksmith in the blacksmith shop. Sign says it's open. And of course I'm in the print shop today. And so I understand there's a lot of folks paying guests for the park up at the top of the hill and some of the top of the hill buildings like the farm and the education center. But we haven't seen many tourists down at this part of the park yet, so maybe I'll have time to take you inside the print shop and show you around. Oh yeah, and the library's open too. Katie's just coming out of there. So, welcome to the print shop. We're showing this building at Heritage Hill as a printing facility as it would have been in the 1870s. And this is our Christmas weekend at the park, so of course I've got the red hat. But I'm standing in an area in front of what's called a California job case. This is where printers would have picked up the letters and built the type together that they would need to actually do some printing. So if I reach into an opening here and pull out a letter, hopefully you can see I've got one letter there. That's the letter E. Now all of the letters are built to have like a mirror. They look like a mirror image because when you're printing you're dealing with a negative copy. And what they often did was they built whole words into sticks like this called composing sticks. And there you can see I've got the word news built in there. So you can think of this box here with all these openings in it of letters kind of using today's terms like the computer keyboard. But instead of pushing a button to get a letter, you reach in and you pick up a physical copy of the letter and you set it into this composing stick, and that becomes kind of like your computer screen. You can read what you've got there. Of course, you're reading it upside down. But I put the word news in there, N-E-W-S, spelled just the way I normally spell it, except that I'm laying it in upside down. Now when it's time to actually print, we set it right side up and you can see that news is spelled backwards. So that's a little bit how type was set. And you could set, on a stick like this, you could set maybe a paragraph at a time if you were using smaller print. Then the next thing you need to do is come over here and do a proof print. And I've got this set up. Let's get down in the sun. You can see it. It says Heritage Hill welcomes you, but of course it's got a mistake in it that I'm sure all of you can see. So what we would do is we'd put ink on that, put a piece of paper on it, roll the press across it. This is our galley press. And now you can see the mistake. The U was in there spelled backwards, purposely, so we could show it to you like that. Once we've corrected that mistake, we'll put all the letters, just like we've got here, into a solid metal frame. We'll build up around the edges of it with wood, and we'll put in these little metal pieces called coins. And what those do, that metal frame is not going to go anywhere. So we take this and we expand it. And you can see how when we expand that, if the metal frame doesn't go anywhere, it squishes all the letters really tight together, so tight that they don't move. And then we can safely pick up the metal frame and go over to a printing press. I'm going to walk over now to the oldest press that Heritage Hill has got. It's called a Washington press. And we'll print a little Christmas card. So the first thing we have to do at our Washington press is get some ink on this little device, which most people will think of as an ink roller, but it's actually called a brayer because it was invented by a man named Brayer. So I rolled some ink onto the type, put the brayer away, grab a piece of paper and lay it carefully on top of the type. And then I put a cushion over it so I don't damage the type when I put too much pressure on it. Roll the whole bed of the printing press underneath the press. And this area right here is going to press down onto the paper of the type when I pull this lever. Take that back, pull this out, take the cushion off, and there is our printed page. So that's how they printed, one page at a time, on this type of press. This style of press, this Washington press, the patent on it is 1826. So it's a very old style press. But that's what they were still using occasionally in the late 1800s. And this shop is basically showing the 1870s, so you get an idea of very old style printing. And this is generally the style of press that Ben Franklin would have used, with the exception that this has got a cast iron frame. And Franklin would have used a press shaped like this, but it would have had a wooden frame. And Franklin's press, instead of having a lever mechanism like I've got here, would have had a screw mechanism. But it still would have had a lever on it, an arm on it, so you can turn the screw up and down. And that gives you a little idea of what a printing press was like and what the printing facilities were like in the late 1800s and even the early 1800s, because this is 1820s style printing. We've got an 1870s press in the back of the room, but the light back there is not going to be real good for me to show you that press. So anyways, that's a quick look at Heritage Hills printing facility on Christmas past weekend, and thanks for watching my video.